Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Nabila Beti Mansur and I will talk about the introduction of Mitsubishi Corporations. Mitsubishi Corporation, also known as IMC, is an integrated global company with an office and subsidiaries in around 19 countries around the world that are growing and working together. Mitsubishi Corporation has 10 types of business conductors such as natural energy solutions, petroleum and chemical solutions, mineral resources, automotive and mobility, food industry, industrial infrastructure, urban development, consumer industry, and also industry material, according to the Office Proto of Mitsubishi Corporation 2021. In 1954, Mitsubishi Corporation was established and announced to implement a management plan for the company in 1967. Mitsubishi company has done a big projects in Brunei to build LNG, which is a liquefied natural gas, in 1968. But MC company is not satisfied with the trade activity, so they want to grow a global scale implement based on the business such as iron ores and coal metallurgy projects in Australia and Canada, and also some farm business in Mexico. Therefore, the company introduced the Mitsubishi Corporation in 1971. The aim of Mitsubishi Corporation is to provide sustainable growth by adapting to change in business environments and also in meeting social needs due to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal (SDG). Mitsubishi Corporation mission is to provide a new experience to our customer with superior creative products and also a service, and it also to make a positive contribution to the sustainable and development of our society. Act necessarily as a trusted company and enhance stakeholder value by leveraging alliance. Moreover, to achieve the goals, the company will rely on the three core strengths, namely such as the collective ability to apply the industry view as a whole, see the future to identify new growth seed and implement skill is to plan them.
My name is Sapin Areza binti Guntot. I will present about the purpose of reporting. The purpose of sustainability reporting of the Mitsubishi Corporation is to enhance the value in order improving the society in all ways. Emerging and benefiting the customer, the best service and product with the highest concern for safety. This purpose also include to promote the sustainability development through the implementation of global business activity with integrity and equity in line with the company principle. Furthermore, the purpose also commit to provide sustainable growth by improving to transform toward business environment in order to meeting the society requirement in line for the concerning United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, the sustainability report is able to provide the stakeholders such as customer, community, and government, which reflect the business economy, environmental and social consequences in order able to influence the evaluation and decision of the stakeholders. Next, the purpose is to ensure Mitsubishi Corporation remain trusted by the society. For example, the Anti-Corruption Handbook of Mitsubishi Corporation in 2016 provide accurate information about anti-corruption and implementation cases of bribery in order describe about the Mitsubishi Corporation program, system, and other plan to prevent the corruption. Besides, the purpose of sustainability reporting is to assist the corporation to be able to attain long-term profitability. This is because when the corporation disclosure and reporting the environment, social, and government implementation, it could be more sustainable activities and create higher profitability and market value achievement. These circumstances will able to attract the investor. For example, the important matters reported and deliberated in Mitsubishi Corporation to a board of director and executive committee about the evaluation of environment matters like climate change risk, mitigation goal, and implementation plans. Lastly, the purpose of sustainability reporting is to enhance communication with stakeholders. Through sustainable reporting, it's become a tool of cooperation to communicate transparently with the stakeholder. For example, the Mitsubishi Corporation major communication operation, they provide information centers such as mass media, website, and event to their customer in terms of product safety, quality, and improvement of customer satisfaction in order feedback and support. Thus, it's creating trust between the customer and the company in order help the customer understand the system of Mitsubishi Corporation and ask for the stakeholder expectation.
Okay, we continue with the metric and performance. In 2016, Mitsubishi Corporations have identified a group of issues that related to sustainable India business. Therefore, MC have performed metric calculation periodically in obtaining information to improve the performance of the company as well as their performance. MC aim is to deliver sustainable growth by adapting to change in the business environment and also to meeting the needs of society with due consideration for the UN Sustainable Development Goal (SDG). To achieve this goal, MC Group will rely on three core traits, with namely as environmental, social, and also governance. Firstly, is in the environmental aspect, MC is very concerned about the matter that related to the climate change issue. According to the Rahman 2018, climate change refers to the change in the climate characteristics including global temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind, and extreme weather, even in the long run. Climate change is hotly debated in the phenomenon nowadays. This is because in this area of globalizations, the issue of the climate change is not a new environmental issue, either for the development country or developing countries such as Malaysia. According to Tan and Saleh 2018, they state that the issue of the climate change is due to the increase in global temperature, which stem from two factors, which is a natural factor and a human factor that contribute to the increasing in global warming, greenhouse gases, and also deforestations. In addressing the issue, MC has conducted emissions calculation from several project brands, including calculation in power generations and heat generation, which is a utility business, as well as joint operation, which is jointly operation project, are included in the calculations. The following metrics are used as the basis for calculation greenhouse gases. MC has set greenhouse gas reductions target in an integrated manner and is working with MC Group company for emission reduction initiative. Each MC business group, including the corporate business personal divisions, create their own emission reduction plan using EMS, which is environmental management system. Thus, ensuring the measure to reduce emission are uniquely tailored for each business. Through the calculations of the greenhouse gas emissions, they can identify which sector produce this gas actively, and they can overcome the issue quickly and easily. Secondly is in the social aspect, MC also concerned about the method that related to human rights. According to the official portal Mitsubishi Corporation 2021, MC believe that respecting human rights is a fundamental for them to run a business intentionally, especially. This is because human rights exist in a society that uphold democratic values such as freedom of speech, freedom of expressions, and freedom to express truth, especially in the workplace. To ensure that every individual has this right without discriminations, all people must be treated equally regardless of religion, race, or ethnicity. As such, MC have established their respect for humans right through stipulations in their standards of corporate conduct and social charters in their companies. Among the example of content contained in MC codes of conduct for executive and staff related to human rights is that it will not discriminate based on race, creed, religion, ethnicity, will foster a proper understanding and awareness of human rights issue. We respect culture, custom, and national and also a regional language. Both within and outside the MC. Apart from this action, the MC board support international norms such as International Human Rights Bill, which University Declaration of Human Rights, and so on. In addition, the MC has also established various consulting systems, including an internal human rights consultative desk and an information notification system. This system was created to ensure that human rights concerns can be addressed and known to them. The function of this system is to ensure that any grievance related to human rights can be submitted at any time, either by manual, which is writing a letter to superior, a telephone, or directly. The use of this system can be used anonymously and confidential, as well as matter care deal with and investigated by people who have no conflict of interest in the matter, so that it can be investigated fairly without a bias. Therefore, there are several initiatives that was implemented by the MC in maintaining human rights in the workplace, especially is to provide training to employees. Among the training provided by the MC is employee such as a program aimed at a certain level of management, including for new employees, and as well as a training on a trade practice on our corporate philosophy. This program is to some extent help the worker to understand about the principle better. Lastly is governance. In the aspect of governance, MC is concerned with the matter that related to the compliance. Compliance is a way of ensuring that all MC members not only comply with the law, regulation, and rule and regulations, international standards, and international regulation, but it also respects general acceptance standard for conducting business. Under the three corporate principle, which is corporate philosophy of MC, has a two standard, namely the MC Corporate Code of Conduct, which is served to regulate the MC, and the MC Code of Conduct, which serve a regulate of officer and employees. Under the policy, the MC Code of Ethics state that all officer and MC officer must comply with all law, rule, and regulations, international standard and regulations, and all internal corporate rule and policy in the operation of their business. In addition, all officer and MC officer must act in social responsible manner by adhering to the highest ethical standard in conducting their business. Thus, it can be stated that the compliance of the MC is more than compliance with the law found in the organization. Action contrary to general accepted social norm for conducting business cannot be taken regardless of their validity. To have an effective compliance program and to ensure accessibility to the MC compliant philosophy and rule. The MC has established various internal rules that related to compliance under the three corporate principles, standard of corporate conduct and code of conduct. These internal regulations are reviewed annually to reflect change in law and regulation, as well as change in the business environment and other circumstances surrounding in the MC group.
Next, I will present about the future commitment and progress. The future commitment is important for all organizations to be a process of keeping track on progress and development for any business. This is because the future commitment could be able to provide unessential information about the currently circumstances in the company in order give the starting point toward a system of future commitment setting which able to help the company to apply and accomplish the company's strategy for development and growth. Firstly, the future target of the Mitsubishi Corporation is to manage and minimizing the prevention pollution of the business operation. The Mitsubishi Corporation have regulate and monitor sustainable in order minimizing and in order effective minimizing the pollution. This target is linked to the quantity of waste in order to reduce, reuse and recycle waste by action of environmental management system. For example, in 2021, they targeting to choose and implement the oil spill risk survey through the oil spill risk guideline in 2021. This target will be conducted through the decision of the project, which is establishment of the oil spill risk accident prevention and risk control framework through product control and implementation of oil spill risk survey regularly. This action could be able to protecting appropriate the risk management to overcoming the oil spill risk in order to avoid the company while doing the business operation. Moreover, the future commitment of this company is to, in terms of human rights, the Mitsubishi Corporation committed to maintain the operation to deal with the issue of human rights in line with the United Nations Guiding Principle on Business and Human Rights. For example, Mitsubishi Corporation implement the policy on children rights where any person that under minimum of working age should not employ and involved in any employment of Mitsubishi Corporation in order they strive to overcome the abuse of children rights in the company. In addition, the Mitsubishi Corporation committed to engage in the advertising and marketing in line with the three corporate principles of the company. The three corporate principles is corporate standard of conduct, the social charter, and the code of conduct, which is through this, the Mitsubishi Corporation struggle to enhance the brand value by disclosing accurate information and accepting comment from the external stakeholder. To achieving the target of the corporation to become world leading company is through sustaining growth and forming a strong presence to the food and health sector. For example, the Mitsubishi Corporation of Life Science Limited generates seasoning, food quality enhancing ingredient and hot food ingredient using the power of microorganisms, essentially yeast, where this implementation is important as supplement of health and beauty field. And this also able to addressing issue of the elderly people that have a difficulty consuming and for those people that experience the disease of aspiration pneumonia due to the difficulty consuming for the food. Thank you. That's all about the future commitment on and progress, and we proceed to the next topic.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aiza. I will explain about the legitimacy that Mitsubishi used in the sustainable report sustainable report. First of all, legitimacy is the popular acceptance of the government political regime or system of the governance. The word legitimacy can be interpreted in either a normative way or positive way. Legitimacy is the company disclosure social responsibility information to present a social responsible image so that they can legitimate their behavior to their stakeholder group. And legitimacy is based on the idea that a social contract exists between business and society. Mitsubishi used some standards in their sustainable report. First, the first standard is SDG. SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goal, which is SDG is the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. And SDG are used for solve a certain problem that Mitsubishi Corporation face, like transition to a low carbon society, procuring and supply in sustainable manner, and taking involving region issue. And this SDG will give a guideline to the Mitsubishi Corporation to solve this problem. And by using the SDG, it helps business to be better engaged by the stakeholder and the enhance sustainable decision making process and strengthen their accountability. As we know, the SDG have the goals, and Mitsubishi Corporation will use this goal to be a guidance for them to solve. Second standard that Mitsubishi use is ISO 20000, which is ISO 26000 is the other standard that Mitsubishi use, and this ISO 26000 is intended to assist an organization and contribute to the sustainable development, and it is intended to encourage items to go beyond legal compliance, recognize that company with law is a fundamental duty of any organization, and essential part of this social responsibility. For example, Mitsubishi Corporation used the ISO 26000 as a guide to make a list for potential issue, and ISO 26000 also will provide a guidance to recognize a social responsible and engaging stakeholder, integrate social responsible behavior into organization, and implement the accountability, transparency, ethic behavior, because it can build trust from the customer and other organization to invest to their company. ESG, the other standard that Mitsubishi Corporation use. ESG is stand for environment, social, and governance. This ESG will make the investor increasingly apply this non-financial focus as part as the analysis process to identify a material risk and growth opportunity. Mitsubishi Corporation use ESG to make the investor increasingly looking at how the company invest in addressing environment and social issue. Mitsubishi Corporation will use ESG when making a decision or review, because Mitsubishi Corporation want to reduce the impact to environment. So next standard that Mitsubishi use is TCFD. TCFD is stand for Task Force on Climate-Related Financial and Disclosure. This aim at all financial actors from company and investor to assess owners and manager as the goal to provide consistently and transparent information to global market. By supporting in the TCFD, it can reduce climate change that happen due to their business like air pollution, water pollution, or ecological damage. Mitsubishi Corporation support and recommend the TCFD because they want to reduce the impact of the climate that increase the several year be the function of the TCFD is the help to identify the information needed by the investor, leaders, and the insurance risk and opportunity, and to make a recommendation for consistent company disclosure. Through this TCFD, Mitsubishi Corporation will reduce impact to increase the feed supply due to the decrease in the agriculture production chain in the forage. The last standard that Mitsubishi Corporation use is EMS. EMS is stand for Environmental Management System, and is comply with the ISO 1000 under the EMS, and MC under the EMS, Mitsubishi Corporation aim to reduce the environmental impact in a business, office, and work activity like target reduce greenhouse. EMS are same with the ISO 41000 because EMS is introduced to control the relationship between business organization and the natural environment. They use ISO 41000 as a guide to make EMS because ISO 41000 is the standard that set the requirement for the environmental management system. It help this ISO 41000 it help the organization to improve their environment performance through more efficient use of the resources and the reduction of the waste. By complying the ISO 41000, and Mitsubishi Corporation can improve image and credibility their company with the legal requirement will improve the cost of the control, reduce the employee turnover, and Mitsubishi Corporation also will follow the process stipulated by the ISO 41000. When customer or the other internal stakeholder ask to provide environmental information, EMS is the standard or system that reporting and correcting a matter relating to the implementations of law and ordinance, as well as guidance from authority. And EMS will measure the environmental contamination such as lastly is the Mitsubishi Corporation is use the external auditor to make evaluation, which is the external auditor R2, which is outside director and outside auditor supervisor. They will evaluate and give comment to the Mitsubishi Corporation about improving the scope of information sharing and important investment.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Amira Metinuzami. I will talk about the sustainability performance analysis in Mitsubishi Corporation Company. The first point is human right. Mitsubishi Corporation strongly support the human right, especially to their workers, children, and women, so that their right is protected and safeguarded. In MC, they have implemented several policy in order to show their support. The first policy is policy on children right. By respecting the human right of children, it can give a positive impact to their development and also can produce an active generation in the future. That's why MC support the United Nations and International Labour Organization agreement regarding the children right to ensure that their right is respected. The second one is policy on indigenous people right. The MC give more focus on the right of indigenous people by having a contributed around the country in terms of their unique history and their culture. The last policy is policy on human right consideration when retiring armed security service, where MC Group take more care of their employees from danger. The second point is labor practice. In Mitsubishi Corporation, they have several labor practice, which is the first one is labor standard, labor environment and related matter. With the large number of employees, MC strive to increase the human resources and support their success by creating harmonious and comfortable work environment. The second one is about the employees relation. By this practice, MC went to improve their employees' work performance and at the same time went to increase their business productivity in order to achieve their goal. The next point is occupational health and safety. Occupational health and safety is very important to be done to every organization in order to protect their employees' welfare and health, so that they can produce a quality works. The MC has established the solution about the occupation health and safety and health management to ensure the worker can work in a safe and comfortable environment. In addition, in April 2018, MC has established the Health Management Office within the Global Human Resources Department, such as internal medical clinic, mental health support, and also the MC health insurance union to consider various health related measures. The last point is supply chain management. As a global company, to ensure the sustainability supply chain is the main thing to should be emphasized, so that the goods and services that be received is in a good condition. Therefore, MC also established the Mitsubishi Corporation policy for sustainable supply chain management. In addition, while doing the business, MC also focus on the environmental well-being in order to reduce the impact toward the environment. I will proceed with the sustainability reporting indicator rubric and self-interpretation. Based on the table shown, we can see that the highest grade is on the human right performance, which is 46 points. This is because MC is very concerned about the human right and consider it is very important to take care of. Therefore, MC also support the international norms such as the United Nations Guiding Principles on Human Rights and Business, the Core Labour Standard of International Labour Organization, and also the Voluntary Principle on Security and Human Rights. And they also respond to the labour force and child labour. The second one is about the labour practice and decent work performance that get 45 points. MC take great care of the welfare and safety of their employees. Other than that, MC also take approach to security issue, occupation health and safety, and health management to ensure that their workers can work in a comfortable environment and can relax their mind. Next is product responsibility performance to make sure that the goods and services is in good condition and not harm the environment. The product that implement by the MC is very focusing on the environmental care so that they can reduce the environmental problem, the air pollution and climate change. Lastly, with the 44 point is society performance. MC has run a campaign that show the cooperation with the community that can contribute to the community development and also provide some initiative for the well-being of the society. All effort undertaken by MC are for the welfare of the communities.
For the conclusion, sustainability performance assessment is the harmonization of financial, environmental and social objectives in the delivery of your core business activity in order to maximize the value. This is important to companies that run the business because organization will understand when action that lead to progress and the degree of the process. Sustainable assessment is the methodology that can help decision maker and policy maker to decide the action that they should take. And according to the Day Howe and David Corner 2020 state that sustainability assessment is the process that direct plan and decision making process toward the achievement sustainability development. While sustainable performance are important, this can give information to the society about the business, and this also help the company to follow the requirement that they should do during make the business, and this is important to company follow the global report initiative for make the sustainability performance assessment.